Hi, I'm Jerry Reddy, and this short video will look at the projected impacts of climate change on my hometown of Skerries in Ireland and what we need to start doing to think about how to adapt to these changes.
Skerries is a low-lying coastal town of 10,000 people in the Fingal area of North County Dublin on the east coast of Ireland, just 30 kilometres north of the capital and only 20 minutes from the airport. The town runs along the eastern coastline, extending along to the area known as Red Island to the northeast, which is connected by a narrow isthmus to the land, which on the northern side of the town forms part of the harbour before the beach extends further northwards. To the west, the rail line forms a boundary to the town's further expansion. Skerries is originally a small fishing village, and the harbour remains the heart of the town. While fishing has reduced in importance as fisheries activities have moved to larger harbours, the area is equally important for leisure activities and tourism. Indeed, in the 1950s and 60s, the area of Red Island was home to a large holiday camp before the advent of cheap foreign holidays, and now is reclaimed as open space with areas for swimming and other recreation. The town has long transformed into a commuter town for Dublin just 35 minutes south, with a large number of residential estates extending out from the historic centre. The centre of the town has a range of small shops and service providers, mixed with cafes and restaurants, and accommodation for tourists visiting the town. The Brook stream runs through the town to the sea, with the old windmills along the route now restored as tourist attractions. The surrounding hinterland is one of the most important market gardening areas of the country. A snapshot of Skerries' mild maritime climate can be obtained using historic data from the synoptic station at Dublin Airport, provided by Met Éireann, the Irish Meteorological Service. This shows that for the period 1981 to 2010, average temperatures ranged from 5.3 degrees in January to 15.6 in July, with an absolute max of 28 degrees in August to an absolute minimum of -12 in December. On average, 82 days of ground frost can be expected per year, mainly between November and February. Rainfall averages at 758 mm per year and is relatively evenly distributed throughout the year. Stronger winds, significant for such a coastal location, occur in winter months, with the vast majority of gale force winds occurring between December and March. In terms of observed changes to date, the Environmental Protection Agency's Climate Information Portal for Ireland notes that Ireland's mean annual temperature has already increased by 0.8 degrees Celsius for the period between 1900 and 2011. The number of frost days is decreasing, while the number of days with temperatures greater than 20 degrees C is increasing. In terms of sea level rise, observations suggest a rate of 1.7 millimeters a year since 1916. Regardless of the potential impact of climate change, Skerries' low-lying coastal location makes it no stranger to severe weather events, chiefly as a result of a mix of high tides and extreme rainfall during storms. The sea wall to the south of the town has been severely damaged in the past, and transboundary transport and power links affected. Further south still, cliff erosion is a major problem, while all along the town's eastern coastline, sea defences have been inadequate to prevent flooding. At Red Island, the recreational swimming areas have previously been destroyed by storm waves. The harbour is regularly inundated as spring tides and storms combine, threatening the touristic leisure and fishing centre of the town. In low-lying areas of the town, flooding associated with extreme rainfall events has often blocked important commuter routes from the town. As areas of the Brook River's natural floodplain have been encroached on over the years, flooding in this area has often proved disastrous to homes and businesses. Met Éireann's 2013 study, Ireland's Climate: The Road Ahead, describes recent efforts to downscale global models of potential climate change impacts to the local level for Ireland. Although uncertainty is acknowledged, the key projected changes have been incorporated in the EPA's Climate Information Portal. Surface temperatures are expected to increase across the island between 0.8 to 1.5 degrees in summer and 0.8 to 1.7 degrees in winter for the period 2041 to 2060, under both the low, medium and high emission scenarios. An increase in the intensity and duration of heat waves is also expected, and a reduction in the number of frost days. For the same period and emission scenarios, predictions of rainfall are less certain, especially in terms of spatial variations over the country. However, broadly wetter winters and drier summers are likely, with the frequency of very wet days, being those greater than 20 millimeters of rain, up by 20% in winter. Best estimates for sea level rise cannot be provided with any confidence due to a lack of data, but global predictions are for an increase in sea levels in the range of 0.26 to 0.55 meters for the low emission scenario and 0.52 to 0.98 meters for the high emission scenario. The Climate Information Portal also notes limited confidence that an increase in the occurrence of coastal storms and surges in spring and winter may occur. Key issue for Skerries is clearly its coastal location and defences, with existing defences having been frequently breached. With predicted sea level rises and the potential for storm surges to increase in winter, the impacts on coastal housing and businesses, particularly at the harbour, critical to both tourism and fishing, are clear. Ireland's Climate Change Adaptation Framework, published in 2012, effectively devolved responsibility for adaptation to local councils. However, to date, Fingal County Council do not have the local detailed data or resources to plan for effective adaptation of coastal defences. Further work, such as this reintroduction of dunes at the South Beach, and other such soft engineering solutions, as well as hard engineering solutions such as improving coastal defences here at the North Beach, needs to be based on detailed studies and budgeted for, using a low regrets approach. In addition to the obvious risks to coastal harbours, for the fisheries industry, climate predictions for Ireland include increases in sea surface temperatures, which will likely mean a reduction in the range of some northerly species, while southerly species are likely to increase their range northwards, offering opportunities. Fisheries is just one area which needs to consider adaptation at a sectoral level. And for the hinterland's important market gardening sector, there will also be potential opportunities and impacts in a sector well used to autonomous adaptation. Projected increases in temperature are expected to increase the duration of the growing season, with spring occurring earlier. In addition, increased temperatures may result in increased autumn and summer grass yields. Ireland's Climate Information Portal notes that the beginning of the growing season is already occurring approximately 10 days earlier now than when compared to the early 1970s. More effective drainage in winter and conservation of water in summer will also be required. Critical infrastructure in terms of Skerries' important road and rail links to Dublin, essential for the vast majority of the town's residents, will require improvements to avoid repeated flooding, which can create significant transboundary impacts for businesses in Dublin and commuters in Skerries and further north. More work will need to be done to manage the Brook River, protect remaining floodplains and reduce flood risk, such as this recent work to reduce tidal surges upriver. With warmer, drier summers and warming waters predicted, and increasing temperatures and heat waves in southern Europe, there may be opportunities for the tourism industry in Skerries in attracting more people from both home and abroad. For a coastal location like Skerries, climate change impacts upon a range of sectors including tourism, fisheries, agriculture and critical links to the city, while also offering many opportunities. However, although Fingal County Council are seeking to mainstream climate change considerations in the current review of the 5-year development plan, due in 2017, there is little discussion of adaptation. Many, including Rowan Feely of Maynooth University and Gerald Mills of UCD, have pointed to the need for an integrated coastal zone management framework in cases like Skerries, where the risk is largely a geographical one.